of words by the MYP students, MYP 4. Please give them a big round of applause. This is their composition. The freshness of this morning dawns a message that is as fresh as dew. That the old gives way to the new, but the new will always emulate the golden hue. For old is gold, and the young hold it true. So let me start this experience by just revealing some of the identities, and you will have to name them through a few riddles that will come your way. And just to remember that you will be considered their subject audience. So it will be very contextual and you will be the subject audience. The first riddle goes like this. Magic and wizardry in our hands, taking you to faraway lands. 1 billion can be her remuneration. Incredible is her imagination. Yes, could you remember already? Yes. GEP Presentation. Yes. So please give a big hand to Khushbu ma'am. Yes. And I know Khushbu ma'am is a die-hard fan of Harry Potter series, so she would guess it instantly. So would you believe we have J.K. Rowling coming up? Yes. Let me call Shruti to brief you more about the speech.
Rowling spoke about the power of imagination and benefits of failure. So today, we present before you the author of all times addressing the students of Harvard University. Please welcome her with a big round of applause.
Let me play. Okay, she's already here. Yes.
President Voss, members of the Harvard Corporation and board overseers, members of the faculty, proud parents, and above all, graduates. The first thing I would like to say is thank you. I feel like I'm at the world's largest Gryffindor reunion. On this wonderful day, we've gathered together to celebrate your academic success. I have decided to talk to you about benefits of failure, and as you stand on the threshold of what's sometimes called real life, I would like to extol the crucial importance of imagination. I was convinced that the only thing I wanted to do ever was to write novels. But what I feared the most at a young age was not poverty, but failure. I had failed on an epic scale. An exceptionally short-lived marriage had imploded, and I was jobless. A lone parent and as poor as it is possible to be in modern Britain without being homeless. The fears that I had for myself and the fears that my parents had for me had both come to pass. And by every usual standard, I was the biggest failure I knew. Now I'm not going to stand here and tell you failure is fun. Coming to my second aspect, you might ask why I chose my second theme as power of imagination. Because unlike other creatures on this planet, humans can think themselves into other people's places without even having experience. They can learn and understand and sympathize with the other person. Imagination is a power like my brand of fictional magic. One of the many things I learned at the end of the classics corridor, which I entered at the age of 18 in search of something, was this that I couldn't define then, written by Greek author Plutarch. What we achieve inwardly will change our outer reality. This is an astonishing statement and hence proven 1,000 times every day of our lives. So, I wish you all good lives and conclude with these words. As is a tale, so is life. Not how long it is, but how good it is what matters. I wish you all very good lives and all the best. Thank you.
Short speech. That was a short speech with a powerful message. Imagination, the power of imagination and the fringe benefits of failure. Right? Okay. Coming to the next orator, or the great speaker. The American history moved on, but civil wars stopped. Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, sir. His mission couldn't get completed. In 1865, he was assassinated. Who could that be? Abraham Lincoln, yes. Please give a big round of applause to ma'am. Yes, you guessed it right.
The Civil War in the United States began in 1861. President Lincoln wanted the abolition of slavery, so he issued the Emancipation Proclamation. The proclamation declared that all people held as slaves will henceforth be free.
While the Civil War was on, President Lincoln delivered the 272-word Gettysburg Address on November 19, 1863, on the battlefield of Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, where many soldiers lost their lives. Lincoln at that time had no idea at how famous the speech would turn out to be.
Today, one of our friends is here to deliver this historic speech. Please welcome him with a big round of applause.
Fourscore and 7 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation conceived in liberty, dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. Now we are engaged in a great civil war, testing whether our nation can long endure. We are met on a great battlefield of that war. We have come to dedicate a portion of that field as a final resting place for those who gave their lives that that nation might live. It is altogether fitting and proper that we should do this. But in a larger sense, we cannot dedicate, we cannot consecrate, we cannot hallow this ground. The brave men, living and dead, who struggled here have made it holy, far above a poor power to add or detract. The world will little note, nor long remember what we say here, but it can never forget what we did here. It is for us rather to be here, dedicated to the great task remaining before us, that these soldiers, we here, highly resolve that they shouldn't have died in vain, and that this nation, under God, shall have a new birth of freedom, and that the government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth. Thank you.
Sure, the message had a deep meaning and conveyed a lot of sense. The elements of democracy were entailed in that speech. Here comes Martin Luther King.
I am happy to join with you today in what will go down in history as the greatest demonstration of freedom in the history of our nation. 50 years ago, a great American in whose shadow we stand today signed the Emancipation Proclamation. This came as a momentous decree beacon light of hope for those millions of Negro slaves who have been seared in the withering flames of injustice. It came as a joyous daybreak to end the long night of captivity. But 100 years later, the Negro still is not free. 100 years later, the Negro still lives on a tiny island of poverty in the midst of a vast ocean of material prosperity. So we have come here to dramatize this shameful condition. In a sense, we have come to our nation's capital to cash a check. This note was a promise that all men, and yes I repeat, all men, black men and white men, will be guaranteed the rights to life, liberty and pursuit to happiness. But it is obvious today that America has defaulted on this promissory note insofar as the citizens of color are concerned. Instead of honoring this sacred obligation, America has returned the people a bad check, a check which has come back marked insufficient funds. But I refuse to believe that there are insufficient funds in the great walls of opportunity of this nation. We refuse to believe that the Bank of Justice is bankrupt. So we come here again to cash this check. Now is the time to make the real promises of democracy. Now is the time for our nation to rise from the dark and desolate valleys of racial injustice to the sunlit path of racial justice. Now is the time for our nation to lift from the quicksands of segregation to the solid rock of brotherhood. Now is the time to make justice a reality for all of God's children. 1963 is not an end but a beginning, and I have a dream that one day my 4 little children will live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin but the content of their character. And I have a dream today. And if America is to be a great nation, this must become true. And when we allow freedom to ring, when we let it ring from every hamlet and every village of every state and every city, we will be able to speak of the day when all of God's children, Protestants and Catholics, Jews and Gentiles, black men and white men, will be able to hold hands and sing in the words of the old Negro spiritual, free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, we are free at last.
This is one very close to our heart. He caused the water to ripple and the waves to crash. With his words in Chicago, the Confederates went gung-ho. Swami Vivekanand, yes.
Swami Vivekanand's name is counted in the most prominent personalities in the world history. He was the man who could just bring revolution by his words. On September 11, he delivered an iconic speech in the Chicago Convention of Parliament of Religion.
During his speech, he introduced Hinduism to the world. He talked about religion and intolerance. His speech got a 2-minute standing ovation, and that is why it is still remembered. Let's give up for Swami Vivekananda.
Sisters and brothers of America, it fills my heart with joy unspeakable to rise in response to the warm and cordial welcome which you have given us. I thank you in the name of the most ancient order of monks in the world. I thank you in the name of the mother of religions. And I thank you in the name of millions and millions of Hindu people of all classes and sects. I am proud to belong to a religion which has taught the world both tolerance and universal acceptance. We believe not only in universal toleration, but we accept all religions as true. I am proud to belong to a nation which has sheltered the persecuted and the refugees of all religions and all nations of the earth. Sectarianism, bigotry, and its horrible descendant, fanaticism, have long possessed this beautiful earth. They have filled the earth with violence, drenched it often and often with human blood, destroyed civilization, and sent whole nations to despair. Had it not been for these horrible demons, human society would be far more advanced than it is now.
I fervently hope that this convention be the death knell of these demons, with the sword or the pen wending all lives to the same goal. The seed is put in the ground, and earth and air and water are placed around it. Does the seed become the earth, or the air, or the water? No, it becomes a plant. It develops after the law of its own growth, assimilates the earth, the air, and the water, converts them into plant substance, and grows into a plant. Similar is the case with religion. Hence, each must assimilate the spirit of the others and yet preserve his individuality and grow according to his own law of growth. I believe in help and not fight, assimilation and not destruction, harmony and peace and not dissension. Thank you.
So harmony and peace, assimilation and not destruction. Coming up next would be someone of the recent times. The debut of new dreams, the debut of new hopes. She suffered bullets but contained her rage. The hand is already up. Yes. We made it so simple for you. We knew that the teachers would identify. Yes, it is none other than Malala Yousafzai from Pakistan, the Swat Valley.
We all have heard about this girl from Pakistan who shot to fame at the age of 15 by a Taliban gunman in 2012. At the age of 17, she became the youngest person to win the Nobel Peace Prize.
Today we'll be hearing her speech given at You Will Meet at the Oslo City Hall, Norway. Please welcome Malala Yousafzai.
Please welcome her to the
Your Majesties, I'm humbled that the Nobel Committee has selected me for this precious award. I would like to thank my parents for their unconditional love, and thank you to my father for not clipping my wings and for letting me fly. This award is not just for me. It is for those forgotten children and girls who want education. It is for those frightened children who want peace. It is for those voiceless children who want change. I'm here to stand up for them, raise their voice. Because it's not time to pity them. It is time to take action so it becomes the last time that we see a child deprived of education. When I was 10, Swat Valley in Pakistan, which was a place of beauty and tourism, suddenly changed into a place of terrorism. More than 400 schools were destroyed. Girls were stopped going from school. Women were flogged. Innocent people were killed. We all suffered. And our beautiful dreams turned into nightmares. Education went from being a right to being a crime. But when my world suddenly changed, my priorities changed too. I had two options. First one was to remain silent and wait to be killed. And second was to speak up and then be killed. I chose the second one. I decided to speak up. The terrorists tried to stop me and my friends on 9th October 2012, but their bullets could not win. We survived the bullets, and since that day, our voices have only grown louder. I tell my story because it is the story of many girls. I am those 66 million girls who are out of school. People like to ask me why education is important, especially for girls. My answer is, one child, one teacher, one pen, and one book can change the world. Dear brothers and sisters, great people who brought change, like Martin Luther King and Nelson Mandela, Mother Teresa and Aung San Suu Kyi, they once stood here on this stage. My great hope is that this This will be the last time we must fight for the education of our children. We have taken many steps in the right direction. Now it is the time to take a leap. Dear brothers and sisters, why is the countries that we call strong are so powerful in creating wars but so weak in bringing peace? Why is the giving guns so easy but giving books so hard? Why is the making tanks so easy but building schools so difficult? So let us bring equality, justice and peace for all. Not just the world leaders and the politicians, we all need to contribute. Me, you, it is our duty. So, let this be the last time that a child remains out of school. Let this be the last time that a girl is told education is a crime and not a right. Let us begin this ending and let this end with us. And let us build a better future right here, right now. Thank you.
That was for the power of oratory. The orators came, they spoke, and I'm sure they impressed. But now, a little enactment, a little performance. You will have to guess which performance. A Shakespearean piece of literature inspired by Roman history. Coming before you is a Roman general with perfect skills of oratory. Julius Caesar, yes. His hands stained with the blood of his loyalty and his pride fallen, lying dead before him. He now seeks an answer, all in the name of honor. Brutus, yes, you got that character right. Another person who seeks an answer in the name of loyalty. Who could that be? Mark Antony, yes. Please give a big round of applause for those who answered these. Yes, Anil sir? Who said Mark Antony? Okay, great.
Dear teachers, so far we have heard and seen orators from recent past.
But do you know the art of rhetoric from 4th century BC in ancient Greeks and then
It further spread to British and Roman isles.
in our final act, we'll present before you a small enactment of how Julius Caesar, the famous Roman general, was killed by his trusted senator.
This is an enactment from Shakespeare play Julius Caesar, Act 3, Scene 2. Here he is conversing with his closest friend Mark Antony.
Antonio,
Caesar?
let me have men about me to be fat, healthy-looking men who sleep at night. That Cassius over there has a lean and hungry look. Men like him are dangerous.
Don't be afraid of him, Caesar. He isn't dangerous. He's a noble Roman with a good disposition.
I wish he were fatter, but I'm not afraid of him. And yet, if I were capable of fearing anyone, Cassius would be the first man I would avoid. He reads a lot. He's a keen observer. He knows the hidden motives behind what men do. He doesn't like to play the way you do, Anthony. He doesn't listen to music. He rarely smiles. And whenever he does smile, he does so in a self-mocking way, as if he scorns himself for smiling at all. Men like him will never be comfortable if someone is ranked higher than them. And therefore, he's very dangerous. I'm telling you what should be feared, not what I fear. Because after all, I'm Julius Caesar.
No sooner does Caesar doubt Cassius that the next day he is murdered by the senators in the assembly hall. This includes Brutus, his confidant.
Ah! Hey, you!
Romans, countrymen, and lovers of Caesar, hear me for my cause, and be silent. If there be any in this assembly, any dear friend of Caesar, to him I say that Brutus's love for Caesar was no less than his. And if he still questions Why Brutus rose against Caesar? This is my answer. Not that I love Caesar less, but I love Rome more. As Caesar loved me, I weep for him. As he was fortunate, I rejoice at it. As he was valiant, I honor him. But as he was ambitious, I slew him. There are tears for his love, joy for his fortune, honor for his valor, and death for his ambition. Come here, Mark Antony, to speak without permission.
Hail Brutus! Hail Brutus! Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. I come to bury Caesar, not to praise him. The evil the men do lives after them. The good is oft buried with their bones. So let it be with Caesar. The noble Brutus hath told you Caesar was ambitious. If it were so, it was a grievous fault, and grievously hath Caesar answered. Here, under the leave of Brutus and the rest, for Brutus is an honorable man, and so are they all honorable men, come I to speak at Caesar's funeral. He was my friend, faithful and just to me. Yet, Brutus says he was ambitious, and Brutus is an honorable man. He brought many captives home to Rome, whose ransoms did general treasures fill. Did this in Caesar seem ambitious? When that the poor have cried, Caesar hath wept. Ambition should be made of sterner stuff. Yet, Brutus says he was ambitious, and Brutus is an honorable man. You all did see that at the Lupercal. I thrice presented him a kingly crown, which he did thrice refuse. Was this ambition? Yet, Brutus says he was ambitious. And sure, Brutus is an honorable man. You all loved him once, not without cause. What cause withholds you to mourn for him? O judgment, thou art fled to brutish beasts, and men have lost their reason. Bear with me. My heart lies in the coffin, there with Caesar, and I must pause till it come back to me.
That was the end of our little enactment and the presentation. This was Mark Antony who gave the speech, the famous speech of friends, Romans and countrymen. And we hope the students have done a great job. Your encouragement today will lead them to become great orators of tomorrow. So, may I please call all the students one by one to actually reveal their identities. This is the bibliography, the images, the audio.
even we don't know how these different speeches from different contexts and eras were able to create such an harmony and portray one single message.
A single message on the power of words. Words hold the capacity to pave the past, to create the present, and to enlighten the future. We hope that these words by great orators have rung deep in your ears.
And to conclude with, we would like to graciously thank some of our authorities who we are greatly indebted to. Firstly, our mentor, guru, and our biggest inspiration, Ekta ma'am, our GEP teacher, for not only handling such a wild crowd like us, but for also making us realize our inner orators and guiding us to become the orators of tomorrow.
We thank Jaya ma'am, Vishwajit sir, and our class homerooms for supporting and encouraging us.
We thank Sharda ma'am and Dr. Ghosh sir for having a program like GEP available in our school.
We thank Poman Bhaiya and the ICT team for assisting us with our presentation.
But above all, we thank our audience for hearing us out and providing us with motivation.
We thank everyone and hope to seek blessings and good wishes to keep up the name of our school.
Thank you so much.